like a brief discussion. So if one of you guys wants to take the lead, you know.
Well, hey guys, my name is Mickey. As it said in the description, I work very closely with the West London community. Born and raised Notting Hill, Ladbroke Grove. I also work in the music industry with fellas like Big Zuu over here.
Did I know?
Yeah, and I'll leave it to Zuu.
Yeah, Mick tried to do the humble thing and tried to not explain how much of a boss he is. He's definitely one of the pillars in the West London community. Someone that's seen us grow up as musicians within the area. Me and Mr. Tracy, he's also his bro. Yeah, I'm a musician from West London. I'm also a TV chef now, which is hilarious. And then I'm a DJ as well. And do you know what? I just became an author because I'd done a cookbook. So if you go on Waterstones, and you write author, Big Zuu, I'm there.
Cheeky bit of promo, love it.
Come on, cheeky.
Guys, by the way, if anyone's got any questions, please just leave them in the chat, and then when we've got like at the end, hopefully we'll have some time, I can ask and have some answers and so on.
Yeah.
So I guess, can you guys tell us like where you're from, like country wise, how you feel like that's sort of impacted your current experiences, or like in a positive or negative way? Does any of that sort of impact the work you do? Like, for example, do you think a lot of what you're doing is centered around where you're from, not just sort of country wise as well, but also, you know, the fact that you grew up in West London? Like, do you feel like a lot of the work you do is impacted by that?
110%, no? Like, yeah, West London is the most diverse community in the country that I've personally seen. And although we clearly have division, like wealth-wise, like there's no division at all other than wealth. And even amongst like the class divisions in West London, everyone's still friends. Like the same friendship circle will consist of, let's say, 10 different nationalities, and everyone will know everyone's parents. There's no like, it's as though we are absent of racism in our little small Ladbroke Grove, like Notting Hill bubble. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Minus, obviously, as I said, there is a clear class divide, which they're slowly trying to push us regular Joes out, but we'll obviously cover that later. And what I do, so I'm at the moment in the process of starting a charity with 3 like-minded friends of mine, and we're just trying to get young, talented individuals into top universities, like a load of you guys there, by offering tutoring and help with not even just the academic process, but the interview process, navigating the whole cultural issues that you obviously clearly face at these top universities. And just trying to make sure that we can forcibly maintain our position in the community. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think go on, Zuu, sorry.
No, go on.
No, I was not going to say anything. I was just going to say me and Mickey were talking about the charity thing before as well. And hopefully, like, I guess it's up to Mickey, but I'm sure a lot of people would be like down to help, you know, especially because, I mean, like you said, a lot of us have experienced like these cultural issues being at a top university as well. But yeah, anyways, Zuu, sorry.
So I'm from country-wise, I'm from Sierra Leone and Lebanon. I was raised by my mom, so I definitely feel more Sierra Leonean than Lebanese. I can't speak Arabic, but I can speak Creole. I kind of moved all over the gaff when I was growing up, but then I settled in like Fernhead Road, which is like other side of Ladbroke Grove. But like Mick said, yeah, man, grew up with so many different types of people. So like obviously the prominent communities around us was like the Moroccan community, the Caribbean community, the Eastern European community, like the Somalian community as well. So those are like kind of the more prominent kind of people that was around West for me. But there was also so many different types. Like our friendship group, just the man them that we chill with, like when we're in the room, we're all from different places. So it helps inspire us. Like in terms of my work, it definitely inspires me with the food stuff that I do. When I do cooking stuff, I've got a lot of things to draw from, you know. Like Mickey can tell you, Mickey's a man that's got a good palate. He's eaten a lot of different food. And growing up in West, it gives you that like you're like lucky to be able to do that, you know. Whereas
Mhm.
I don't know. Obviously, other places have their differences, but I feel like in terms of the multiculturalism that we grew up, it's definitely impacted me a lot and kind of like helped shape my view of the world, you know.
Do you feel like you still sort of maintain that in like, so you said like even with a lot of the cooking you do, like, you know, you're thinking about your recipes from around the area. I guess there's open to you both. Like when you're doing work, do you think I'm trying to give back to my community like locally, and also the fact that, you know, we're diaspora, like do you think about like, oh, back home I'm trying to, you know, make my people proud or represent the country I'm from?
But you don't even understand what Zuu does for his country. Zoo's about to take over soon, man.
I am dead. Yeah, it's boy. Salon.
By the way, guys, some more promo. Like I just bought Zoo's book. Yeah, pre-ordered.
Yeah, pre-ordered it.
Yeah, so if everyone else could do that as well.
Yeah, if you,
I already.
I'll leave the link in the chat, and then guys, hopefully people pre-order as well.
But yeah, so
pre-ordered the hardback.
Now look, I'm launching a scented candle brand, like a vegan soy scented candle brand. And Zuu owns a factory that produces multiple natural products in Sierra Leone. And I'm actually ordering some of my products from his factory. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like just any way we can give back to the communities.
And that's the thing. It's like, I think going to back to what you said, like, I definitely want my people to be proud of me back home, but I've also gone back and seen that there's like, even just like the music business over there, like I linked up with someone who's absolutely killing the game over there, and they just don't have access to the stuff that we have access to. You know what I mean? Like the business is so small. So it's like, I definitely know. I was writing music about it the other day, you know. I'm over here in a place that's kind of lived off the riches they've gained from like destroying other countries. I'm here getting all the opportunities for that. Like, I've kind of got to a place in my life where I've realized I need to go back home and give back. Like, and it's not just give back in a way where man just gonna start building up bare wells. Like you can do that, but I also want to do it in a way where like, come, let's make some bread. Like, I don't want to just give people things. Like, I want to break bread with the people in the country. Like, create things. So like Mick said, I've invested in a factory over there. That's obviously providing work for people, but then also making me bread at the same time. But then it's about like reinvesting that bread over there and building up. And for me, one of the main things I've clocked, I just want to build roads out there. I know that sounds bare random, but like when I'm in Sierra Leone, the roads are so terrible. And I just think, imagine if the roads are correct. You know what I mean? Imagine if the roads are like proper, then things could be different. Like the country will move faster. Like things will move faster. Like, and it's just little things like that. Where can I have my little imprint on this country from the opportunities that I get from here? And I'm thinking about it all the time. I'm not gonna lie. It's in my brain all the time.
Yeah. I feel that road thing because Morocco, the roads are done out as well.
No. Morocco's greatly improved since I first went there. Like,
yeah, it has, but the roads are still done out in some places. So I feel that. In terms of like where you got to now, do you feel like this was always the plan? Like, so for example, did you know you always wanted to be like a musician or a DJ? And Mickey, did you know you always wanted to work with like in the music sphere? Because like, given the conversation we were having the other day when you said, I'm thinking of kind of going back into teaching possibly, like, what was the vibe from the big, like, do you feel like you've had a massive change over the years as to what you wanted to do? Or
I'll be honest, right? Me personally, when I was growing up, I made probably the worst decisions you can make in life and I chose quick, fast income because that's what I needed at the time. Like, my home wasn't stable. If I needed trainers, I couldn't afford trainers. I couldn't just go to college and enjoy myself, happy-go-lucky. And I was making a lot of money, but there's the downside of it that you don't see is that every police officer, I went on a bike ride through Hyde Park the other day. As I rode off, I hear, Perkins. It's a police officer shouting my name. I just happen to know him because I know everyone. You know, I've been arrested 30, 40 times. I've got countless numbers of convictions, which only now I'm starting to feel the actual effects of, the long-term effects of, like the fact that I'm trying to apply for visas and I've got to have like 35 interviews with every different European country to go and do work I was doing last year. Because of Brexit, now I've got to go and have interviews with every single European country, Asian country. And I didn't really have a plan when I was young. The plan was just, I think it's like every young ethnic kid, like, I just want to be rich. And growing up like I did, I grew up on Elgin Crescent, where I was the only council block on my road, and the average cost of a house is probably like 8 to 12 million pounds now. So all of my neighbors, like Alex is probably here, good friend of mine, you know, all my neighbors were minted, and I thought, well, I just need to be like them. All I need is money. But to construct the steps to get there were kind of beyond me. I didn't really understand. All I thought was, right now I'm doing this and it's working. If I keep doing this, maybe I'll be a millionaire.
Yeah.
And then the fact that I discovered that I had a problematic relationship with alcohol from my early teens, which resulted in effectively, I'm an alcoholic. Do you know what I mean? That's why now I'm over 3 years sober. And
What?
yeah, when I stopped drinking the first time, I saw an improvement in life. But then something I don't know, it was a carnival and then a New Year's, and I started drinking again. And within 6 months, I ended up in prison for a violent offense, because that's what happens when you drink. Do you know what I mean? You don't really have control. And then when I came out of prison, I was like, look, I'm not going back down that path. The kind of conversation you're having in prison, where I first went to prison when I was 18 years old for 1 week in Feltham, right? And then I went to prison at 23, 24, and I've seen the exact same people in exactly the same place saying exactly the same things. And I'm like, that can't be me, man. You know what I mean? I'm clearly at rock bottom here. Like, I've got to come up. And big up Tracy, do you know what I mean? He was there. You know, he supported, man. And eventually I realized, like, what I have around me, I can actually forge some kind of a career out of what I have around me. Now, who knows, I'm doing all right. I'm over here living decently. And now, it's only now I'm able to put my plan in place where, as I said, all I really want to do is give back. I want to help young people that were like me, like, get to where I am now, but without the 10-year gap or 15-year gap where you decide, like, to make consistent wrong decisions. Now, if I didn't have Tracy around, this is the truth, if I didn't have him around, I'd probably still be doing some serious fuckery now. Do you know what I mean? Like, whether I'd be making money or in prison or not, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't be able to have this conversation here. Life is a bit, growing up where we're coming from, when you're genuinely poor, right? It's not easy to see the light at the end of the tunnel. No matter how many times your teachers tell you, like, you can be whatever you want to be. When you watch TV, you don't really see black lawyers. You're studying law, you don't really see Arab lawyers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you look at genuine professionals, people don't look like me, they don't sound like me, they don't act like me, they don't have the stories that I have. When someone tells you can be that, you just don't believe it. So where I see my role is trying to forge a link between those young people and those professions, and telling young people that, no, I'm telling you, you can be this, but these are the steps that you're going to have to take. These are the people that are like you that have already taken those steps. This is Big Zuu, do you know what I mean? This is yourself. These people can do it, you can do it. There's some steps to follow, and we're here to help you. As a community, we're here to help you. If your parents don't understand, if your uncles don't understand, you've got us. You've got your community to lean back on, and we're never going to let you down.
Yeah. I was just going to ask, how do you feel like the education system then sort of, because admittedly I know a bit more like about Mickey's education just because we went to the same secondary school, but like Zuu, I'll ask that in a second. But I know Holland Park back in the day was notorious for being, you know, not the best, and now it's the socialist Eton. So there's been a dramatic change, but obviously considering the period where you went to school, how do you think like the education system sort of either pushed you to where you currently are now, or sort of impacted the bad decisions you made to an extent?
So I'll give it to them. Holland Park, they gave us a good quality education. That's the truth, right? But my main issue is that they didn't care about pupils. Right? They didn't care about the students. All they cared about was the league tables. They cared about the league tables. They cared about donations from the public and becoming a rich school. I don't really understand I don't understand the thought process of a school when their main concern isn't the kids that they're teaching. So I left with 12 GCSEs, A star to B. Like, I did pretty well. Then I went on to the sixth form, and a week before my modular exams in January, I broke my elbow. And I took like 2 days off school. I came back and they said, sorry, we've withdrawn you from the modules. I said, what? Why would you do that? And they said, because you wouldn't do as well as you would have done, and that will impact negatively the league table results. So you can resit the year next year. And you're telling like a 16-year-old kid, I just said, you know what, just go F yourself. Like, I'm not coming back here.
Yeah.
And I think that was a pivotal moment, at which point now I'm left from January to September to just be on the streets with no education. It was probably that allowed me to, that kind of forced me on a downward slope, if I'm completely honest with you. But the quality of education I did receive, I give it to them. It was okay. But I think it's not just about the quality of education, it's about the pastoral care, and it's about, as I said, showing young people that you can actually do whatever you please.
Yeah. Zuu, I guess in terms of like education, you said you grew up in Fernand Road. That's the other side, you know.
Other side.
Where did you go to school? How did it impact you, kind of thing?
I went St. Augustine's in Kilburn.
Yeah.
Haha. Yeah, man. I mean, Holland Park, you lot school was just an evil school. I used to just, definitely, my mum would definitely didn't want me to go there, boy. But it's different now.
St. Augustine's was just vibes.
They've got mad gardens and that now. It's so crazy, bro. School looks like a Westfield. Your school looks like Westfield. My school still like a block. St. Augustine's was good. It's funny because I've gone back there. I've done talks there. I've met the students now. I've done all of that, so it's kind of gone full circle. I was similar to Mickey. I left school with 12 GCSEs as well, so I was a bright kid. But same thing. They you know, I was lucky. I had a couple of people that cared about me in my school because we had that representation. That my head of year was a black lady who competed in the Commonwealth Games for shot put. So she was just big, strong black lady. One time she slapped my boy in lesson. And we all just looked at her and we were like, okay, that's not allowed, but we're not snitching. She slapped my boy. So it's about representation. It's about that. But we had her. She was one person. So I was lucky to have her. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have done half of the things we did. You know, like my history modules were about South Africa and being black in America and learning about stuff that was actually relevant to me as a person. So I was lucky I went through that. But in terms of like being a musician, being a presenter, being a DJ, that was not tapped into 1% in my whole entire education life. Like throughout my education, nobody clocked, he might be okay at music. Do you know what I mean? Now I've been a songwriter for 10 years. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's hilarious. It's like, I just find it so funny that the kind of like notion that to be a musician in school, you can't be mandem. You have to be like, you have to come from a nuclear family and own a violin to do music in school. Like it never made sense to me. Like I definitely showed them I was good at music because we all had to do music. I definitely showed them I was on it, but I just never got that push. I'm a young person. Like I'm from the hood. I'm from the ends. Like my mom's African. You really think when I'm 12, I'm gonna be like, yeah, let me pursue singing. Yeah. No, it's not going to go on. I need to get English GCSE. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now I look back and I wish I spent more time learning my craft, learning the piano, learning how to drum, learning how to play the guitar, learning how to go on Logic. All these things I didn't learn. But now it's life because that's the thing. But that's where I feel like education missed out. Like, because now I go back to school and they're like, oh my God, yes, we're so proud of what you've done. We always knew it. But it's like, no, you didn't. Yeah. No, you didn't. Nobody told me to do music GCSE. You lot, I did additional PE. Like, I'm fat. Why am I doing that? You know? But it's them ones. It's them ones, man. I was lucky because when I went to college, I went to a place called William Morris. I was completely failing. Like Mickey, you know, you leave secondary school bright, you get to college, things just aren't the same. I was lucky that I got given a chance. So whereas Mickey didn't get given a chance, I was given a chance and I was proper going, like I got kicked out of, I obviously failed maths, so I was doing 4 A-levels, failed maths, so went to 3, got kicked out of one of them, so I only had 2 A-levels. So I was literally going to uni with a chance of getting UCAS points that were going to equal nothing. Like, you get it? I wouldn't even be able to go to the deadest uni. So someone just stopped me when I was walking through college, one of the head of years, and he kind of told me, what are you doing with your life? Like, do you actually know what you're doing? And I was like, no. And he sent me to a career advisor. They told me, take a gap year, become a youth worker, use your experience to go to uni. And that's what I did. I left with like 120 UCAS points. I got like a C and a D. I got like a D and an E. And then I went and did this. I went and worked in charity for a year, did all that, worked a bit. And then with that experience, I was able to go uni. Mm-hmm. So I was lucky that somebody actually took their time out and said, like, compared to Mickey, they actually came and said, you're going down a mad road. I'm just going to give you one person to give you some help. And then that one person changed my whole life. And it just shows how different the roads can be if somebody makes an effort to show you what you can become. Mm-hmm. Somebody stepped in and said, Zuu, you can do, what are you good at? And I said, oh, I'm good at being sociable. I like talking. I like helping people. They said, why don't you be a youth worker? I'm like, how can I be a youth worker? I'm 17. You know what I mean? And then they showed me, this is how you become a youth worker. This is how you can do. This is how you boom, boom, boom. And then I went into it, and then I went to uni to do youth work, but music became prominent. So that's the only reason why I dropped out to be a musician. But if it weren't for that, I would just be a youth worker in the end right now.
Yeah, to be fair, I feel you. I was just going to draw on something you said, which I think is applicable to a lot of people. I think from like an African or Caribbean heritage, coming from the kind of backgrounds we do, within my household anyway, and a few of my friends, it's always like education is the only route. So our parents don't know anything but uni, but sixth form uni, doctor, lawyer, whatever route you're going to take, you know? So like, if I came and said to my mom, I want to start my own business, I want to be a singer, I can't sing for the life of me, I don't know, I want to be a personal trainer or something. Or if I said that to my dad, even worse, he would literally just be like, no, you're going to uni, like you don't have a choice. So did you have like a similar sort of background at home, and how do you feel like that sort of impacted what you're doing now? Like, I guess it never really put it out of the picture for you guys, but was it more of like a, you know, like a hindrance, like, oh, like this isn't what my parents want me to do kind of thing, like I need to go to uni, I need to study, I need to get all A's and B's and C's and whatnot?
Vic, do you want to go first?
You know, I think that goes without saying. I think any minority ethnic household I've been in, you are going to be a doctor. You are going to be a lawyer. It just doesn't, you know. I know builders that earn 80, 90K a year. I know personal trainers that earn over 100K a year. You can be successful in absolutely anything you want to do as long as you're consistent. As long as you're consistent and you produce results, you can make a good living out of it, and you probably enjoy it more than staring at a computer screen as an arbitration lawyer. You know?
Yeah, no.
Like if you ask Zuu and AJ, when they first came to me telling me I'm gonna be a rapper, what did I tell? But don't be fucking stupid. Look, do the rap thing all you like. Yeah, do the rap thing all you like. Just get a degree, please. I'm just like, please just get a degree. Like if it kicks off, it's a bonus, but a degree is always there to fall back on. They're like, trust me, bro. Trust me. I got this. And I'm there thinking, oh God, they're just gonna follow me. You know what I mean? They're just gonna follow me. Like they're just gonna follow me and be stupid. And yeah, clearly they've proved me wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah. Clearly they've proved me wrong to the highest extent. But I had exactly the same mindset of if you're not a professional, you're gonna fail at life. Because these times I've not been taught that, as you said, you can be a musician. You can be a musician that doesn't even get that. There's musicians you don't even know, DJs, that are on 5K a show, and they're doing 10 shows a week. They're doing 8 shows a week, touring the world, you know? And you don't even know who they are. They're just low level. Am I lying, Zuu? They're just house DJs. You have no idea who they are. There's so many different ways to forge a career for yourself out there. I feel like the academic box structure that they've put us in for so many years, that doesn't work. I think people are starting to realize this national curriculum rubbish is going to have to change, you know? They're making A-levels and I think it was T-levels now. They're doing T-levels, which are some kind of vocational levels. But I know that when I was at school, if you did a BTEC, you were looked down on as like the dumb kids, no? Like
that's still the vibe, like slightly, that's still the vibe. Like,
do you know what I mean? You're the BTEC.
But yeah.
Whereas, if I'm honest with you, those kids that did BTEC, like bricklaying or whatever, are probably on 50, 60K a year. The same kids I know, the same young people I know that did A-levels and went to uni, but they're probably still trying to get on graduate schemes now because we had the big financial crash, we had all of that. There was no jobs. So they're probably earning less than the bricklaying BTEC kids. But yeah, you've got a degree to show for it. Clearly there needs to be a huge shake-up where we have some kind of equality, and you can tell young people, yes, you can do bricklaying if that is what you want to do. Yes, you can be a musician. Yes, you can be a chef. These things shouldn't be showed to you in your late 20s. Like, Zuu obviously got a chance. Do you know what I mean? He realized, but they shouldn't be showed to you in your late 20s when you're already at rock bottom.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's tough. The way I see it, because I went Goldsmiths, yeah. I was in Goldsmiths. I was doing community development and social science and youth work. It was one course, BA honors, and then you get a youth work qualification. So I was in it in my second year. I was kind of just like, yo, I might impact more young people through music than being a youth worker. So I definitely think it is important to go through education. Not everyone needs a degree, 1,000,000%, but the stuff that I learned about youth work and community and social science in university has carried me on through life. I think the problem is that too many young people get forced to make a decision when they're 18, 19. That's something that could affect them for the rest of their life. And instead of having guidance on what they want to become, they just get told, do something that you think is something that's good, like be a doctor, be a lawyer, work in finance, things that are all applicable jobs that are actually needed for our society, things that are good things that are important things. But the problem with that is there's a pressure on it. The pressure is that if you do that, you'll be a professional, like Mickey said, and you also earn nice money. But now society is changing. We're getting to a place where our understanding of like working roles is changing now, because like Mick said, there's people that have gone and done a lot of education and gone on to become a certain role or gone into work, and they're not earning the same money as someone who might have left education at 16 and just become a builder or a contractor or something like that. But like he said as well, that's about your consistency and your hard work ethic. It's about what you want. But I feel like for young people, especially, that guidance of making you understand that the decision that you're going to make is actually going to affect you for the rest of your life is tough, because I was lucky enough that when I was 18, I was able to invest into my music. So regardless of what I was doing, uni, work, life, a percentage of my life was invested into something that was for me. And I think that's what a lot of young people miss out on. Because if you tell someone when they're 16, start playing the piano today, for an hour a day, by the time they're 26, they would have been playing it for 10 years. You know what I mean? And naturally, even if you are tone deaf and your fingers don't work, you will become good at it, because it's just life. You put hours and stuff, you become good. But the problem is, with a lot of young people, is they just get told focus on your education, and then they're in a life where they do uni, they have to work and make bread so they can survive. They have to have their little bit of a social life. Where is the time to do self in reflection and investment and become good at something that can be a passion that takes over your career? The time ain't there. The life strain is not there. The people that get that time are people that are, their mum and dad have paid for their uni experience. They don't have to work. They're cooling. Like, they get their work done. They see their bedrooms. They don't have to worry about going to go do a shift in Sainsbury's because there's no food in their fridge and you're 19. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's tough, isn't it? It's tough to tell youths, don't do degrees so you can follow your passion. But at the same time, when we are telling them that, there are a lot of people, I can't generalize, I don't know the numbers, but I do know there is a percentage of people that leave university and then end up working in a job that has nothing to do with their degree. You get me? And that is a waste of time. And it's not a waste of time because you've not learned what you've learned. You have become educated, you've become smart, you've learned things, you've met people through uni, you've networked, you've lived a different life. But what you've not done is invested time into something that you actually wanted to do. Because imagine we all just invested time in what we wanted to do. We'll all be doing what we want to do in life. But the problem is that we don't have that representation, belief. Like you said, it's the family as well that behind. Like, my mum thought there was a devil in me when I dropped out of uni. She wanted to get me seen by someone. She thought like my life was going downhill. Now I've paid all my mum's debt, and anything she wants in life I got for her. You get me? And she apologizes to me for the pressure that she put on me at that time. But she's a Sierra Leonean woman who grew up with nothing. Why would you want your son to be a musician? What are you gonna do? Play the guitar outside or something? Do you get it? Like, for her, that was dumb. But then when she sees what I'm doing now, she's like, yo, go to the studio. What are you doing? Should I make you a tea? Why are you smoking? It's gonna hurt your voice.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely the problem with the households. It's more of like, if you're not doing something that's not that's education related, you only kind of get the support once you've made it. So like up until that point, it's kind of like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And the second you blow, or the second something goes right, or it's, you know, it's becoming profitable, or, you know, something's coming out of it, then it's like, okay, well done. Like, maybe I was wrong, kind of thing. But I also feel like education, like you said, isn't necessarily like that. You can have a good education, but I feel like so many degrees are underlooked. Like you said, you did a degree that genuinely taught you things about being a youth worker and so on. But for example, like with my dad, it was, my older sister's a doctor, so it's like, you know, you either follow in her footsteps and you're a doctor as well, or you do law, or you do accounting and finance. If I told my dad I wanted to do, or some sort of like science degree, but if I told my dad I wanted to do something that wasn't one of those degrees, he would have said, what's the point? Like, you have to do law, you have to do science, you have to be a doctor. He doesn't understand that you can make a living other than by that means. And I think it does come from the fact that, you know, so many of them came here young, like seeking a better life for their kids and so on. But I guess there are other ways for us to have a better life without necessarily going through that whole uni process or doing something that we're not necessarily going to enjoy. I was going to ask one more question, and I think it's kind of, how do you feel like we can increase representation for students, for example, who don't necessarily want to go into the education system? Because I feel like when you're so personally, my experience at Holland Park, I just remember one of the girls didn't want to go to uni, but our head of year was just like to her, no, you have to apply on UCAS by force. But I don't feel like there is that sort of representation, people who know they don't want to go uni and who feel like they'll be wasting their time at uni, but want to do something else. So what kind of like things do you think we could be doing to sort of aid that, or like pushing that forward a bit more?
So the problem we have with education at the moment is that you're training people to do a job that by the time they finish their studies, the job probably doesn't exist anymore, or the jobs that are making money is a completely different role. For example, when I told Zuu and Age, don't be rappers, the biggest rappers were probably Bashi and these lot, who were still having to drive a bus. Although being a household name in the rap industry, you still have to drive a bus to make a living. But then fast forward 5 years, and well, I know self-made independent millionaires that are rappers. Do you know what I mean? It's like the same as if I look at when I was at school, marketing was probably big. But now marketing is huge. Everyone studies marketing. Everyone does marketing. Everyone's in advertising. But the stuff you learn year one at uni, by the time you finish your degree, it's null and void, because the market has changed so radically that what worked 3 years ago doesn't work now. It's already been done. It's got to be completely different strategies now. So like, I completely get why people don't want to go to uni, because they're just like, well, it's not going to help me. The problem is, you don't know what you want to do at 18. Does anyone really know what they want to do at 18? It's a very small number of people. And what do you do with those individuals that say, I don't want to study? Where do you put them? Do you put them on another, like, more specialized course somewhere in something they don't want to do? I think it's a conundrum that I don't think you, I, or Zuu could solve as to what you do with these people. But I guess I would probably, if it was my son at 18 and said, I don't know what I want to do and I think uni is a waste of time, I'm going to ask him, what do you love? Like, what is it that you love? Like Zuu said, do you love music? Do you love food? If he still doesn't know, sorry, son, you're going to uni.
Fair enough.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I think for me, in terms of representation, I can't remember the name of the book that was put out by Murky Books, but there's a book by Chelsea and Ore. It's about their experience in Oxford and Cambridge, being black girls in their courses. And I had a conversation. Yeah, taking up space. There we go. You lot are saying it. You lot are G's. Thank you very much. I was lucky enough to do a podcast with them about the book, and talking to them about their experience, going to university. That's tough, you know. You want to be successful in life. You want to go to the best universities, do the best courses, and then even just coming from a position where you're not like a white person, you instantly have that boom, different playing field. There's not going to be the representation of me within my teachers, within my class, within the whole entire system. Even when I get into working, it's always like a battle against you, and the representation isn't there. And for me to inspire more people to get into it and to pursue it is tough. But I think now we're in an age where our kind of like understanding of like roles in terms of ethnicity is changing. So, you know, we're seeing more representation on television and stuff like this. So I hope that may inspire young people more. I think if for me, it's about things like when you see Storms doing something like that, like co-signing a book that's about that, yeah, that's the kind of steps that need to happen. We need to have people that are prominent figures have conversations about it. Like even when Mick told me, "Come here, let's talk about these, just to have a conversation." It's sick because for me, it's like if I'm having this conversation now with you guys, I might go have another conversation with someone else that might make them pick it up now, and it's just about bringing it up because like you look at these institutions and you just feel like it's like an elitist kind of thing, but you know that there's people who come from nothing who work hard to get there. And if other people saw that story, that might motivate them more. Do you know? I feel like people just need to understand that you can do it. Like you can, if you do want to be a lawyer and you do want to be a doctor, these are things that you want to do. You want to help society, but you also want to make money through that. It's possible, and it's also just understanding that. But like, I think what Mickey's talking about, having like an outreach program for people from the end, is really a sick thing because that's kind of like where you're going to see that more of a drive. Because I know that within university, the more women go to university than men, and you see it in the hood. A lot of men when they're like at that age, 16, 17, 18, you can't. If you go in the hood and go, so who's going uni? Who wants to actually go uni and become a professional? Like, I can go to the block. You're not going to see bare hands go up. Like everyone's gonna be like, yeah. But if you ask them how many of you are getting pressured to do that, they'll all put their hand up, you know? So it's just about galvanizing that rather than turning it, like understanding where the pressure comes from is because your parents want you to be successful. Also understanding that there are roles in society that we need to reach, and then also understanding where do you sit within that. I think youth work is super important. That's my answer. I'm not gonna lie. I think youth work, stepping in and intervening with young children and kind of understanding their focal point on what they want to become and trying to galvanize that and help that as much as possible. It's only going to create more opportunities. The less youth work, the less people are going to get into things. You know,
and
that's how I see it.
Just as like this is the final question of this segment before I move on to the next part. It's more of like a piece of advice kind of thing, because both of you are doing very well in your respective careers. But say I wanted to go into that career, the mindset I'd have is, well, the mindset I would see myself having is, that's a 1 in a million kind of thing. Like, I'm unlikely to blow the way they are. So what's the point of wasting my time? Do you get it? Like, yeah. I would kind of see it as, I can do it, but what are my chances of it being successful? What advice do you give to people like that? Because I know so many people who want to do a certain thing, you know, they want to start their own business or they want to, I don't know, become a rapper, or they want to do something, you know, that's not the standard education system, but in their mind it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to do it. It's not going to be really fruitful. I'm not going to blow. I'm not going to, you know, etc. So what would your advice for that kind of person be?
If you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect other people to believe in you? It's all about self-confidence and saying, you know what, I am going to do that. Just as long as you convince yourself that you're going to do it. Because like, I know that Zuu, his entire career, before he even blew or anything, he was just like, I'm a rapper. He started saying, you know, I am a rapper. He didn't introduce himself as I want to be a rapper. It's I am a rapper. I might not be a big rapper, but I am a rapper. And eventually, you put out enough music and you get it out to enough people, you're going to have fans. You know what I mean? You're going to have people that like it, and then you're going to get to where Zuu is. If you're not good, or you got to force people to like you, you know? You just got to force them. If it's not the style of music they like, you've got to create your own style. And I think now, with social media, you don't need to be mainstream to still make a career out of it. Like, the truth is that not everyone is going to be like the Big Zoos or the AJ Tracys, but you could still make some sort of a successful career for yourself. You know what I mean? It's not all about the same way. Not every lawyer is going to get onto the SP 500, or they're not going to be in the top 500 lawyers, but you're still going to have a successful career. Yeah. So it's just about getting out there, doing it, and just enjoying yourself. As long as you are turning over, as long as you can put food in your fridge, a roof over your head, and sitting down for a pension, and you wake up smiling every day, and you're happy and you love what you do, just go and do it, man.
Wow. That was a good way to put it, you know. Mickey got the words, I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, Mickey's good with the literature, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
nah, he slapped it. Trust, as long as, bro, I think my advice, as someone that's kind of like invested in himself and kind of seen the rewards from it, I definitely, one thing that I always do is always set myself goals and then dreams. What's my goals and then what's my dreams? And then what I've seen happen in life is that my dreams eventually become my goals. So I'm always setting myself something new and like understanding that we all have the same 24 hours. I hate when people say that. I hate when people start doing trading and they go, we have the same 24 hours in a day. Like, brother, allow me, you just make 10 bags in 1 hour. I can't do that. I can't make them risk. But what I'm trying to say is that I think we as humans kind of like deny ourselves of understanding our full ability. Like, I'm definitely very drained and very tired a lot of the time. I definitely work a lot, but I also know that I'm capable of doing things that I maybe not capable of doing, because like I'm getting into like acting and stuff now, yeah. And I'm definitely not an actor. I did drama in like year 7. Apart from that, I'm not an actor, fam. Like if I was to act, I would say fam, bruv, cuz, and you know what I'm saying, about 15 times in a monologue, even though none of that will be in there. And I'm learning that. I'm always learning something new. And I think it's just about challenging yourself and understanding that what Mick said, you're not the best at this in the universe, but that doesn't mean anything. Because neither was that guy. Neither was that guy. Like, I think Jamie Foxx is a big inspiration to me. And that sounds bare weird and random. Like, why Jamie Foxx? Not even that hard. He's not even like the best actor or the best singer. But who cares? He's breaded and he's done amazing things. And I look at him because he inspires me. He inspires me because man might not say his name all the time. Yeah, maybe might not think of him straight away. But he's got bad boy films. He's got bad boy music. He's got bad boy everything. I'm sure there's someone telling him, you shouldn't sing. I'm sure there's someone telling him, why are you acting? But then he flipped it like Drizzy said a line in one of his songs. I can't believe I'm about to quote a Drake song, but I'm going to do it now. Yeah, we're doing it. He says something like Mike never tried to, no, Pac never tried to sing like Mike, and Mike never tried to rap like Pac, yeah? Saying that Tupac never sang like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson never sang like Tupac. And then he says, that's my dad's advice on how to make it in life. And then he says, I always knew my mother gave the greatest advice. So he's basically saying his dad was chatting shit because his dad told him, why are you trying to sing and rap? Basically, that's the bar. The bar is, why are you trying to sing like Michael Jackson but rap like Tupac? You get me? But I'm sure when niggas were telling that nigga, why are you trying to sing, you can't sing? Look at him now, but the man got bare streams. Do you get it? So for me, it's like, that's representation. And I think as men, we're very lucky because we always have consistent role models in front of us. Yeah, maybe not in terms of ethnicity, but in terms of life, men have consistent role models that are consistently showing them you can do this. I think the main problem is that representation for women, making women understand that they can galvanize and become anything they want. Because I think for men, we are consistently given examples of leaders in life who you can aspire to. They may have, and they might come from your background, whether it's a political leader, whether it's a sports person, music person, actor, whereas women, they don't have that. It's that representation isn't as powerful. Like you look at all the top people with most jobs, it's not women. You know what I mean? Even though women get through education more than men. So for me, it's about that representation, because if that representation is there, it will inspire to do things. Like I've gone on the telly now, I've done TV. There's a little kid watching Dave who's gonna think, bruh, maybe I can go on TV now. Do you know what I mean? When I was watching Dave growing up, all I saw was Top Gear and Mock the Week. You know what I'm saying? Which is just old white people. That's changing now, you know? And if that's gonna change, like there was a summer program on BBC, it kind of flopped, it did okay. It was with Maya Jama and Peter Crouch. It did well, but only because of Maya. Like,
Yeah.
and that's not me saying that as a brother who's mixed race. That's me saying that as a person that dislikes television. But this changing. A summer mainstream television program was hosted by Peter Crouch and Maya Jama, a strong Black woman. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, that's what we need more of, more representation, more people coming up and showing a difference. All these things that people used to think are forced, yeah, are very forced, whatever. These forced things are inspiring people, and that's what we need. We need that inspiration. You get me?
Yeah, I mean, both very good pieces of advice. I hope if anyone's listening, they want to do something that's not education-wise, don't drop out of Oxford, but take it up.
Yeah,
on
because
the
that's
side,
long. Don't drop out, because I owe student finance 40 bags for no reason. It's long.
Yeah, don't drop out, we'll just take it up on the side. I guess or just like for the next 15 minutes, maybe we'll just have like a discussion on the Grenfell situation, and obviously like what more we could be doing. I feel like the pandemic has sort of halted so many like efforts that were being made, kind of, especially like just, you know, social distancing, like the monthly march that used to happen, things like that. But in your views, I guess both as like quite prominent figures, what can we be doing on a, like, not just the community kind of scale, because I feel like the community already does quite a lot, but the wider community, you know, like outside of West London, outside of maybe London in general, like how can we be using our voices a bit more? What kind of steps can we be taking to sort of try and achieve justice for the people who suffered?
So my opinion is, right, that justice is so delayed now that shouldn't even be our first concern, right? I feel like there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people right now who are still sitting in unsafe housing. They still go to sleep at night, right? And they don't know if they're gonna wake up in the morning. But do you know what I mean? They don't know if they're gonna die in their sleep, similar to those of our community who passed away. Yeah. And I think our number one concern is to be lobbying the government daily. Like, I email my MP 3-4 times a week, to the point that now she's asking me for a call. You know what I mean? And it was actually supposed to be the day after, where she voted against the UK fire safety bill. So she has postponed the call. She knows she's going to get nothing but heat from me. Simple as. The number one job of a government is to keep their citizens safe, right? The reason that we're sitting here on Zoom now and not in person in Oxford is because we may transmit this virus, which is unsafe for the community. That's why there's a lockdown. You've put the entire world into lockdown. You've cost us. We're in the largest recession 300 years, right? on record. But you can't spend 15 billion on removing cladding instantly from buildings. You can't just spend the money. Why? I want answers. So my piece of advice is, find out from the UK Cladding Action Group which buildings in your area, because there will be one, is unsafe. And every day email your MP and say, why are these people still unsafe? Why are these people still, can you imagine the genuine mental, I can't even imagine the genuine mental trauma of being 15 floors up and knowing that you can't afford to live anywhere else. You can't afford to live anywhere else. So because of your financial situation, you're forced to go to sleep every day and not know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. I can't even imagine what that does to your mental state. Let alone now if you're a leaseholder and they're telling you you're going to have to spend 150K on taking it off, and you don't have 150K. So now you've just managed to buy your first house and you're about to go bankrupt. Now you're going to have to declare bankruptcy, potentially lose your home, and you still have to go to sleep every night thinking you might pass away. Email your MPs and tell them, look, this is not okay. It needs to change ASAP.
Definitely. I think what you were saying as well, I think a lot of the reason, well, like personal opinion anyway, I don't want to speak for anyone, I think the reason so much of it is halted and they're not willing to spend this money is because of who exactly it's impacting. Like, the majority of people who were impacted by Grenfell were minority ethnics, you know, it weren't your average, you know, rich white person who was living in a council flat. And I think because of that, if it was a different demographic, there would have been a lot more force behind, let's remove the cladding, let's try and, you know, get justice for these people, let's make buildings more safer. But because of who it's impacting, a lot of that is slowed down. And we can see it from the MP for RBKC has, I think, voted twice. She voted against the fire safety bill, and then there was something else she voted against. Oh, free school meals. That's kind of random, but she voted against that. Like, and it's because of who it's impacting. Like, anyways, yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to ask is, as like students, what do you feel like students could be doing? Because of course, like we can email our MPs and stuff, but on a more like holistic scale, how do you think we can sort of contribute to this movement, you know, to making sure?
I think that students as a body of people, the government fear students, because you students, especially at Oxford, right? You guys are the next MPs, you're the next CEOs of major companies. You're the kind of, you're the group of people who they know are gonna be like, you and your children will be voting them in or out in the next 5-6 elections. So as students, if you target your local MP as a collective body, like if you as the Oxford ACS, as a collective body, sign a one doctrine and email your local MP and say, we want this change, like these are the buildings close to us that have cladding on, I think you'll see results. And I think you force their hand as students, like especially like, say it straight, you see it with pasta, like one person's word means nothing, break it. You put 100 together, it's unbreakable. You know what I mean? So it's all about collective power. And students are also very good at mobilizing. So when we are allowed back out and you students put out the word to say, hey guys, we're gonna march on Downing Street and tell them this is what's gonna happen. Believe me, you're gonna see some results. You're gonna see them reach out more so even than Black Lives Matter. I think if it wasn't for the student impact, the student input in Black Lives Matter, I don't think they would have cared. I'll be honest, the UK. I think the government genuinely fears students.
Yeah.
You students are the closest we have to like the French protesters that would flip cars and set fire to.
The riot.
He's saying it on the smoke.
Yeah.
It's true though. It's definitely true. I hear that still.
Yeah, I think the French are a different breed of people. Like they riot when bread price goes up. Yeah.
And they get results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely do. But I don't know why
I'm not
that
inciting
sort
a riot here by any chance. This is all right.
No, it's not a riot thing, but no, we definitely see. I've seen the impact of what the man did do when the man was doing the marches. You get me? It was definitely like, I'm talking to someone that's kind of like, I've not been as involved as Mick, but I've definitely been there, and I've given my heart to the cause. And I don't know, it's like people kind of forgot, and you know, it's just about how things affect you. You know, I think when things don't affect people, they don't feel it. And the government we're in, we've seen with Marcus Rashford, you know, you can push for change.
Yeah.
They still don't give a fly in hell. They don't care. It's part of their nature. It's part of politics. It's part of capitalism. It's what they live off. They thrive off it. You know, and the fact that these people had to die for them to now turn around and say, yeah, we're gonna remove this cladding, but you also have to pay for it now. It's just like, it's just so naive, bro. It's like, it's just proof that they're just, all they care about is bread. That's what we've learned from the inquiry, from everything we've seen, from the contractors, from this whole cladding stuff. Like, you can just see it's all about corruption. It's all about money. This is what we live in. This is where we are from. This is where some of us are born. Like, this is the country that we are in. These lot are on this shit. Like, let's stop pretending and not on it. And the only way to stop that is what Mick is saying. Like, Mick's saying it in a very realistic way. Like, he's saying it with like the proper way. My thing is just like, bro, like, the only way these are. It's not even bun down the system. Of course it is, like, because I made a song about Grenfell and I said bun the government. So it's them ones. Like, I just feel like you said, it's true. Like, students are, they're the next economy, and I know when them man want to start signing petitions, it's long. Like, but I just think with Grenfell especially, and with the way that everything's kind of been impacted from that, it's just proof, more and more proof, yeah, that, like, bro, Akala said it in his interview, yeah. He said they added cladding to one side of Grenfell because it was an eyesore for the rich people. You get me? And that's wild when you deep it. Like, they put this on the side of a building just to make it match the gym and the next to it. Like, come on, bro. This is what we live. This is what we live through. People have lost their life. Our friends have lost their life. Like, it's just one of those things. And now you're telling me there's buildings across the UK with the same cladding in it. Like, we remember what happened in Camden when 800 people were evacuated from their yard and everyone was just on the roads, and they're like, yeah, you've got cladding. They don't care, bro. They don't care, and it's just the proof. The proof is in the pudding. And unless people really make some noise, all it's gonna take, if another Grenfell happens, that's when people will be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that was in my area. I didn't know. I should have made it. You get me? And that's that. And I think that's just what the awareness that we need to raise is that if man are actively trying to make a change, actively battling this, like you said, like that pasta example is fucking lit because it's true. You get me? You can't break, man. I've tried to break the pasta on top of the pot when man's trying to get boiling and it's not going in. I have to do it in sections.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. I think that most of the irony from it as well is like, even though it was because it was an eyesore, the majority of the West London community, I guess it is RBKC, but when you think about the people who lived around Grenfell, like Ladbroke Grove and Latimer Road, and let's even go as far as Shepherd's Bush, most of the people who live in those areas, you know, like when you tell someone you're from Grove, they don't think Blenheim Crescent or you know, Elgin Crescent or them big houses.
No way.
It's only if you say Portobello that people think, oh yeah, you know, the little Notting Hill house where everyone takes photos. But when I say Grove, people are like, oh right, you're from Grove. Like they instantly associate that with like the ghetto. Like no one thinks, oh yeah, like it's a rich area. So that whole cladding business, considering the majority of people who lived around there weren't even this upper echelon of society kind of thing, is bizarre. But anyways, I don't want to keep you guys for too long because I know you've got busy schedules. So I think I'm going to wrap up there. Big Zoo's book link is in the chat, so you guys go and pre-order.
But make sure you get your cookbook, bare recipes in there.
We need that as Oxford students, I'm not gonna lie.
I got a Moroccan Bastilla now. I got a Bastilla pie in there.
Yeah, we need that as Oxford students because the food is done out.
I got a jollof recipe as well. The best jollof recipe you will ever eat in life. Yeah, it's from Sierra Leone. Any Nigerians, any Ghanaians, I'm not hearing it. Sorry.
Someone said, wow, big talk. Not all of us have access to kitchens here.
Oh, I told you I'm sorry. And I told you I'm sorry. I'm going to have to come there with the van. I'll pull up with the van. I just...
Jollof from Sierra Leone being the best joke.
I never. Hey, don't beg for TI. That's what I say in my country. Don't try and start the war because I will...
By the way, guys, I'm 14.5% Sierra Leonean, according to my history. Yeah? So don't try.
We know it's
Niger jollof is okay. I'm not going to lie. The jollof from the Niger, it's not got that, you know, it's not got that, you just blendy. We don't do the blendy, you know, we cook it for a long time.
Yeah, anyways, we're gonna end up starting a jollof war, and she said don't be lying, sir. Is this gonna be a jollof war in the chat? But anyways, it was so nice to talk to you guys, and both of their socials are on the Instagram page. No, thank you for like coming. Honestly, it was so insightful, and it's just good to have these kind of conversations with people like you guys who've come so far and like do such great things in the community and beyond. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, then like I'll text Mickey or you know, get in contact. And in terms of like any initiatives or anything that come up, then I'll be sure to share it with the ACS, get people involved. But yeah, thank you so much. Honestly, there's some thank yous coming in the comments as well. So
big up everyone. I definitely got something I want to say. I got something I want to chat to you about in the future. I'm trying to make a hub, which is for BAME people. Even though I hate the word BAME, it's for people to come together in terms of directors, editors, television, just coming together for more opportunities. I want to see more of us in TV, on TV, behind TV. So if you're on this camera thing, editor thing, presenter thing, shout me. You're done there. Shout me, 1,000,000%. But yeah, thank you for having us.
No worries. Thank you so much. Take care.
Right, big up. Take care. Mick. Big love, Mick. Take care. See you later.
Ja Rastafari.